we had Ashika mic here, and we had given the lawyer Willis Otieno the mic to come and, tell us about his argument on why elections should be next year and not 2027. And Mariam, you crossed the Sakafu.
I did.
The judges last week said Sakafu does not exist. This matter is different. Willis is back. Okay? He has read this entire, decision from the court, and he'll now take us through it. Willis, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're well?
I'm well. Glad to be here once more. You can see Janet is looking radiant.
Thank you.
So lovely.
I'll take radiant.
Yes, radiant is good, right?
Thank you, Akili.
Yes.
It's true.
Okay.
It is true.
We had told us.
She didn't believe you.
She did. We're kidding. She believes us. She takes a compliment.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Family. Yeah.
Oh, family.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You'll hear the day's quote, and then we'll get into the conversation.
I feel like Wakili will agree with this quote, but let's see. It's a West African proverb, or cited from a West African proverb, and it says, "The truth is like fire; it cannot be hidden under dry leaves." Simple as that.
It eventually comes out.
It eventually comes out.
Yes.
That's what you're pursuing.
That's what I'm pursuing. And in this particular instance, it's coming out. I always draw my inspiration from a saying that my people suffer for lack of knowledge, and the ways of the world are all written. It's just upon you to find it. Yeah.
So you're saying it's coming out now?
It's coming out. In fact,
the truth is coming out.
the truth is right here. Eric.
Wait, before you begin, I can see you're ready to go.
He's so ready.
Some of our viewers and our listeners may not have watched the Shika Mike episode we had where you explained Nikavuka Boda Nikitika Njipata Uko. Just give us context for why elections should be held in August 2026.
Thank you very much. What I must say first is this. We are a country of the rule of law. And the guiding document is our constitution. And Article 142 of our constitution, Article 136 of our constitution, and Article 259(5)(c) of the constitution. If you read those articles, you come to the inescapable conclusion that presidential elections are supposed to be held on the second Tuesday of August in the 5th year. And my argument then was that when you count the 5th year, you count from the date of the previous elections until you find the 5th year. And we discovered that the 5th year runs from the 9th of August, 2026. And it ends on the 8th of August, 2027. Inside it, find the second Tuesday. And that second Tuesday in August will be the 11th of August, 2026, not in the year 2027. The 10th of August, which some have been proposing, including IABC, to be the date of the elections, falls in the 6th year. So we went to court,
Right.
asked the court, number one, we presented the petition, and we also asked the court, because we recognize the question of jurisdiction, we asked the court that, can you give us leave so that we present this petition right at the Supreme Court?
Right.
Ask for leave, permission for the Supreme Court to admit the petition for hearing. And the Supreme Court, in a ruling issued last week, did say this. In fact, two things that are very important. In fact, you don't need leave.
Okay.
You should just have come directly to us.
Okay.
That's option one. Then two, they said, in fact, the question you are raising, that question, we are aware. Now they are guiding us to where the solution is. We are aware of a decision of the High Court that answered it. And this is what they even tell us what that decision is. That's the case of John Aaron Mwao and others was Attorney General. And they say this. Whatever date the first elections are held on, this was in 2010, the next election, the first elections were now the 2013 general elections. Whatever date the first elections under the Constitution are held on, the next elections now going forward after the first one must be conducted on the second Tuesday of August of the 5th year from that date. Hence, more importantly, the term for the next president, members of parliament, governors, and members of the county assemblies may be shorter than 5 years as a consequence of the transitional provisions. IEBC's entire response to the petition and the application for leave was premised on one thing, that these people have a 5-year term, and holding the elections next year will interrupt it. The Supreme Court has told us they do not have a 5-year term. That to me is the take home from the ruling of that court. And now what remains is just to actualize it. IEBC, if it is prudent, should now proceed and say, we are guided by this ruling by the court. You don't have a 5-year term. Your elections are going to be held next year in August. If they are not going to do it, then we're now going to go back to court and tell the court to issue declaratory orders to IEBC to comply with the directions by the court.
Okay.
Willis, let me ask you. What did the court say, the Supreme Court, with regards to jurisdiction? Did the Supreme Court consider this application?
Yeah.
The Supreme Court considered the application that was before the Supreme Court was an application for leave to admit the petition. We were asking them for permission. And they told us, in fact, we do not have jurisdiction to give permission for people to come before us. If you want to come, just come. Don't ask for leave.
Okay.
That is what they were saying, that in fact our application to asking for leave, it does not exist. They don't have anywhere they get the powers to grant leave for people to file petitions before them.
So why are you asking for leave?
Because this was a very, what you call, it's a novel issue that we're trying to raise. And we didn't want to chance by just throwing in a petition without understanding the contours.
Okay.
Now we got our response on the question of leave, but also got our response on the question of term limits.
Okay. No. I want to read the 3 things that this court said. One, they said, we opine and determine as follows. We appreciate that the original jurisdiction of this court rests on election petitions, and that's exclusive. We find that the motion before us seeking leave to admit this petition was filed unprocedurally, more so where the petition has already been filed, so granting leave would be superfluous. I mean, you've already filed it, then you come in to say, can we file?
Yes.
You've already done it. That's what they said. Number 2, they said that this petition was filed purportedly under sections of the Constitution,
163.3.
and if it were true, a petition under those articles which are self-executing, no leave is required to approach this court for any declaration.
Yes.
The applicant is indeed in the said petition as if it was a matter of right, and if so, no leave is required from this court to do so.
Correct.
But number 3, in the absence of jurisdiction, we cannot delve into the merits of your application for grant of leave to admit a petition as sought by the applicants.
Yes.
Right? Consequently, the applicant's notice of motion and filed on this particular 24th of April is struck out for want of jurisdiction, which means that the court says, we don't have jurisdiction. Go to there.
No. We don't have jurisdiction to give you leave.
No, okay.
That is the background. Just remember what you've read, the first 2. It's all speaking to the question of leave. Yeah.
But they also said they cannot delve into the merits
because that's not the main
application
petition
of
Yes.
grant of leave.
Yes.
So they've basically not determined, they've not said whether the elections are...
No. But in coming up, you see what happens is this. The court must have an opportunity to consider what is this we are being asked to grant leave to consider. So they looked at the petition, which is before them. And they're saying these are the issues that are being contested. And in a preliminary way, you can see their preliminary thoughts on these questions. And for me, more importantly, on the substantive question, because IEBC is the one that brought it before the court in their response, that elected officials have a 5-year term. In fact, if you will allow me, Eric, with your kind permission.
Oh, sorry. I'm also,
So I had to read this. This is what IEBC said in their response. A broad, literal, harmonious, and purposive reading of the Constitution denotes that the term of office of all elected officials under Articles 101, 136(2)(a), 181, and 177(1) is 5 years. And they go further to say that if a contrary view is held, it will upset the guaranteed 5-year term in office for elected officials. That's what IBC said. And the Supreme Court has now told us, wait a minute, there is no guaranteed 5-year term after the first elections in our constitution. Elected officials will invariably not serve for 5 years. That to me is the greatest news that came out of that Supreme Court. That to me is it. So what remains, if there's prudence, is IBC to say, we've read this ruling. We are guided by it. We can see what the court is saying. We are all going to hold the elections next year because now there is no longer any guaranteed 5-year term. But barring them doing it, as a petitioner's lawyer, I'm not at liberty to go and seek compelling orders to IBC. We don't even have to wait for the Supreme Court now to hear the main petition.
So yeah, here's the thing.
Yes, sorry.
No, I'm just threading through, and I understand what you're saying. But the court has given its its ruling on the matter of the election date, as we have stated. They said that the Article 140 of the Constitution deals with questions of the validity of presidential elections, which, as the learned Chief Justice observed, is a matter within the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. The issue presented in this petition is not that of the validity of presidential elections, but on the interpretation of what constitutes a fresh election.
Yes.
Thus, the Chief Justice was right in holding that the Supreme Court has no original jurisdiction to interpret the said provision. The jurisdiction lies in this court by dint of Article 163. That, I think this is now the one that speaks to fresh elections. So therefore, aware that the High Court in 2011 was faced with a similar question and had to determine the date of the 2013 general election, and it did so in John Haron Moore and 3 others versus the AG and 2 others. So the court stated, as we have stated, the election date for the first elections under the Constitution is provided under the 6th schedule and not affected by the provisions of other articles. Whatever the date the first elections are held on, the next election must be conducted on the 2nd Tuesday of August of the 5th year from that date. Hence, the term for president, members of parliament, governors, members of county assemblies may be shorter than 5 years as a consequence of the transitional provision. That agrees with what you said.
Yes.
Considering all that we have stated above, we know, opine, and determine as follows that we appreciate the original jurisdiction of the court of the Constitution in the presidential elections, and guided by the foregoing principles, we found that the notice of motion before seeking leave to admit your petition was filed unprocedurally, right? It was also filed purportedly under Article 163, as read with Article 140, and if it were a true petition under those articles which are self-executing, no leave is required. In absence of jurisdiction, we cannot delve into the merits of application for grant of leave. So, therefore, the applicant's notion of motion dated 23rd April has been struck out for want of jurisdiction, and each party shall bear their costs of application. So as far as your application for leave, that has been struck out, but the court has also pronounced itself on what had already been previously said, which is that the elections happened under the 5th year. So it's not a ruling that is an order. I don't have to explain it.
It's not an order.
Yes, it's not an order.
It's not an order, but there are findings which they have made that, in a way, restates the law. That is why I was saying, if IBC is prudent, they should read this ruling. They should not wait for us to go back to court to get compelling orders.
Right.
Do it.
Yeah.
I think you ought to do it.
Eric, thank you very much.
Because
you don't leave the room for them to.
Because, look, in all those things that the Supreme Court judges are noting, they are noting a number of things. Number one, that the first election under the 2010 Constitution, the determination of the date was not only in the Constitution, but also in the schedule.
Yes.
The first schedule said how you shall determine the first date of the election. Okay? And that's why the first date was not in August 2022. It was in March 2023. It went to court and
2013, you mean?
2013 rather, yes. Not in 2012, but in 2013 March. And this went to court and arguments back and forth, and they were said, all right, so pick a date. they picked March 2013. 2013, right?
2013, yes.
2013.
Yes.
And that's when, in the Harun Mao case, they said, invariably, because of this, the date, whichever date this first election is going to happen, this first term of the president all the way to the MCA are invariably going to serve a shorter term. But all future elections must be held on the second Tuesday of August in the fifth year. Right?
Yes.
So the one that they said was going to be a shorter term was that first one.
No. Eric, that's why you get it wrong.
Which they are not saying president.
I need to read this.
Read what?
Whatever date the first elections are held on,
Yes.
the next elections, not election,
Shall be on the second
the
Tuesday.
next, remember the use of the plural, elections.
Yes.
The next elections must be conducted on the second Tuesday of August of the fifth year.
Yes.
Hence, the term for the next president, members of parliament, governors, and members of the county assembly may be shorter.
Hence the
And-
term.
No.
It's very good that we say plural.
Yes.
The next elections
Yes.
in plural.
The next.
And hence the term one for the next president
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Members of parliament. This talks about that first term.
Yes.
He says between 2013, the people who are elected in 2013 will serve a shorter term than 5 years. But future elections
Going forward.
shall be on the second Tuesday
Tuesday.
of August.
No.
In the fifth.
Thank you
The
for
ma-
applying.
No.
this.
What you're missing is what you're missing. Eric, not simple. Let me explain to you.
Okay.
The next elections must be conducted
Yes.
on the second Tuesday of August of the fifth year.
Yes.
How is that different from
But
what he's
sorry.
What he's saying
Yeah.
is trying to interpret that this interpretation by the court was limited
To the first
to
election.
only the first elections. No. What I am saying,
There are two things.
Oh,
There are two
sorry.
interpretations. There's an interpretation about the date for future elections. Having considered that the date for the first election is in the schedule. But then they say that future elections shall not go by the schedule. They shall go by the article, the substantive article of the
yes,
Constitution.
which is the fifth year.
Yes.
Second Tuesday of August in
Of
the fifth year. Yes.
Then there's a second issue that they've determined. The limitation of the term of the first elected officials after the first election. That the first term, this term, shall be limited. They have not talked about the future terms.
No. But when
Only
you
the
calculate,
initial one.
sorry.
No. Again, this is thinking on your feet, and this is my interpretation of that sentence. I think it does limit just the first term.
Exactly.
Whatever the date the first elections are held on. So remember, we're working from the first elections. The next elections must be conducted on the second Tuesday of August of the fifth year from that date. Hence, the term for the next president, MPs, governors, MCAs may be shorter than 5 years.
Yes.
Because as a consequence of the transitional provision. That's another important.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a consequence
Of
of
this
transitional. Yeah.
Oh,
I
that-
think that
So
does
the only
limit.
limitation was on Uhuru 1.
No. What you're not understanding is this.
Uhuru
What I
one
want you to do,
was
Eric,
limited.
when you are reading this, the most important thing is that this case reaffirms and settles us on the question of the second Tuesday
on August of the fifth year.
August
Yep.
of the fifth year. Why that is important is this. It means that going forward, it's now a revolving, it's like a conveyor belt now. We will now be using, it's a cyclic revolve. We'll now be using always for the second Tuesday of August of the fifth year. So every fifth year, we find the second Tuesday of August. It becomes self-executing.
Okay. Let's
So that you cannot say that for the first one is where you serve less than 5 years. Then how do you serve the second one 5 years?
That's
But
what
you
I
see-
understood by it. Should we take a break?
Yes.
We should.
Let's
Okay.
pause. I'm also curious to see what math people are doing, the fixers, following what Wakili is saying, but also the conversation he's having with Mariam, Eric, and myself. It's coming up to 7:30. So the conversation is the law and the divide, right? So let's come back after the break and try and continue to thread this and see what we can resolve at the top of the hour. We'll be right back.
100. Yeah, I said there may be smoke coming out of our ears.
Yes, Paul Minus talking about Pepe. It's impractical for elections to be held in 2026 because the 5 years will not have lapsed. He's basically saying the counting is bad. Mwingine anasema, Eric, listen to Wakili, understand the second Tuesday in the 5th year. Then Samuel amesema to Willis, add salt to taste.
What does that mean? Add salt to taste. Wow. Samuel says it's boiling well. We are hungry. Yeah. Okay.
So why is it that for some people it's such an obvious 5th? What part makes it confusing? Is it where we are counting from? Or what the Constitution says? It's where Willis is counting from.
Is it really? I don't think there's any problem with Willis's math.
We have done 3 elections, Mariam. Okay? And there has been no confusion until Willis got confused.
I think the confusion comes in how many Tuesday, or where the second Tuesday falls within the month of August.
Yeah.
So maybe these previous years, just because of how calendars are shaped, there was no contention of where the second Tuesday will fall. It was clear as day.
And that's why I'm saying, that's why I was actually saying that Willis, you should go to the High Court.
I was going to actually
substantively. Because this one you are trying to play clever by going to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court just stopped you right there in the tracks and said,
Supreme Court in fact
even what you're trying to do here, trying to apply for permission to apply.
Don't do this.
You're coming to the court to apply for permission to enter.
Straight to us.
Is there a reason that you're not going straight to the High Court?
No. We don't have original jurisdiction.
No. Initially, why we went to the Supreme Court was very simple. You know, a Supreme Court is a very special court, and it's like this. It should be the soul of the nation. And being the soul of the nation is that there are certain issues that are of great national interest and import. You want the Supreme Court to speak to it. And why we went to the Supreme Court initially, we were guided by the Supreme Court's own advisory opinion in the case of Crew versus Attorney General. The Supreme Court had said there are certain issues around pre-election disputes affecting presidential elections that are so important that if they arise, come to us. They are the ones who told us that in 2012. And I believed, and I still do,
this is one of
that the question of determining the election cycle for a president is such an important issue that the Supreme Court must have envisaged that when they made the advisory in 2012. That this will be the kind of a thing that we will sit down, pause all our work, and say, this is a very important issue that affects the nation. Even our budget cycle, our political environment, our social economic issues. This is important. We'll put down everything. We'll hear you within 14 days. Because you must give the country direction. Of course, the Supreme Court has not given us directions, as you ask me. They've sat on that petition now for almost 3 months. I had to go on Twitter and start making noise before I could see some movement being done on it. But that is not for today. What is for today is this, which is important. And where the confusion comes in. There is a mental block in many Kenyans that someone is elected president to serve for 5 years. I have posed this and I've said it and I'll repeat it. Whoever will point me to that part of the Constitution that guarantees a president a 5-year term, I will put 1 million to a charity of your choice. So it doesn't exist. What we are discussing is not even the term of office of a president. The issue here is the election cycle. But the moment people start bringing what is not in the Constitution, the term of office of a president, to be 5 years, they convolute, they confuse the discussion. Our discussion is limited to what is our election cycle. Our election cycle is held on the second Tuesday of August in every 5th year.
Okay.
So you apply simple logic, law, math, English, and just find the 5th year. Once you find that 5th year,
you work.
You
Find
look for the second Tuesday in August.
Yeah.
That's it.
Quick one.
Which any Kenyan can do.
Wakili, a quick one.
Yes, Mariam.
The Constitution does guarantee 5 years for MCAs, right?
Yes.
Does it also then say that elections for the president, governor, all these other seats should be done at the same time as general elections, yes? Should be done at the same time as MCAs.
Yes.
So then, can we not extrapolate
that they benefit from the 5-year term? Good question, Mariam. You know, that's a legitimate question. That's the kind of a discussion that if we had from IBC, for example, I would say, let's entertain it. But for good measure, that question, MCAs have gone to court. Andrew Limo case versus IBC. When the first elections were held in 2017. And they said, wait a minute.
We are guaranteed
Under Article 177(1), we are guaranteed 5 years. Why are you calling my election early? And the High Court and the Court of Appeal told them, yes, we can see you are guaranteed 5 years. But the same constitution must be read harmoniously. That constitution says your elections must be held on the second Tuesday of August in the 5th year. So your elections have been brought forward. In fact, what could have happened if you asked me? Part of what we could have done was say this. For purpose of MCS, they are guaranteed 5-year term. Allow them to serve for the 5-year term. You hold the elections early. So the only thing that happens is the assumption of office of the new MCAs is delayed until these ones have served their full 5 years. Then those ones. So you'll always have a 1-year lag between the assumption of office of an MCA. But the elections can still be held.
But the Constitutional Court had earlier mentioned that even in the Aaron Moore case, when it said invariably, because of the first schedule and the date of the first election, that shall be affected. Right? Even for MCAs.
Yes.
That said, in the interpretation of the Constitution, at this part of transitioning to the new Constitution and the first election, then all of you are going to be affected.
Yes.
Whether you're president with no constitutionally guaranteed term or MCA with a constitutionally guaranteed term, all of you are going to be affected.
Yes.
So now future ones are the ones. Now, do future ones guarantee a 5-year term for MCAs?
The future ones...
Did they serve 5 years between 2017 and 2022?
No MCA elected or especially elected in the Republic of Kenya has ever served for 5-year term. None. I'm also repeating. No president.
How long did they serve between 2017 and 2022?
They served for 4 years. In 2017, 2022, they served for 4 years, 4 months.
So not the
2017, so that was 2013, 2022, 2017. Then 2017, 2022, they served for 4 years and around 6 months. Then...
So was the 2022 election held on the 5th year?
The 2022 elections? It was held outside the 5th year. That was actually a mischief.
But they still served for less than 5 years.
Because of the term of swearing in the elections and the assumption of office. And the time when the elections were held, they are not done 5 years. In fact, let me say this. No MP, no president, no governor has ever served for a solid 5 years since the 2010 Constitution. None. If you count from the dates when they are sworn in to the date when the next elections are held.
Can I twist the question? Has any Kenyan voter elected a leader in 5 years? After 5 years?
After?
Has any Kenyan leader,
outside the 5th year? Outside the 5th year?
Outside the 5th year.
Outside the 5th year, yes. When? And that was the assumption, the usurpation of the Constitution in 2022.
You're asking many
voters have voted outside the 5th year.
I'm twisting this around.
Outside the 5th year, yes. Voting has taken place outside
the most important person that we should be talking here is not the person who's elected, whether they serve 5 years or not. It should be the voter. Whether the voter exercises his democratic, his or her, he's here being both. Democratic rights within the constitutional timelines of every second Tuesday of the 5th year. Okay? So let's count the second Tuesday of August 2017 as the date when we held an election for the first time in August. In 2022, when we held an election in the second Tuesday of August 2022, was that the 5th year?
What happened was this. The 5th year ran from 2021 August. Yeah, I think it was on the 8th of August 2021, and it ended on the 7th of August 2022. That was the period of the 5th year.
So the
elections were held 24 hours late.
24 hours.
Late. Yeah, late on the 9th of August. That's around 48 hours late. Outside the 5th year. But my argument is this. We should ask. Yeah, election held on 9th of August 2022.
I've counted again. 2017, 7th, right?
Yes.
Of August. So to 2018, to 2019, to 2020, to 2021, that's 4 years. So then the 5th year starts 2021, 7th August to 2022, 7th August. So then,
it's
yeah.
8th August to 7th August.
Oh, it's 8th. Okay.
8th is our operative date for the purposes of that term.
So the 2nd August of the second Tuesday of August in the 5th year should have been
in the year 2021, not in 2022. And
so it's not
you
the
see,
second,
on that question.
It's not the second Tuesday in the calendar. It's the
Not
second Tuesday after the lapse of the first.
In the Constitution gives you how to calculate years. And in fact, if you remember in the case of Andrew Limo, the Court of Appeal painstakingly wrote down
the dates, but they confused us.
But then they made a mistake.
Yeah,
yes, and
I
in terms
remember.
of their final conclusion, they confused.
Maybe because even them, they were trying. Peter Otieno is saying, in my opinion, elections are like corporate candidate selection or current contracted staff term. If a company contracts for 2 years, then a worker cannot continue for 1+ years, yani 3 years.
If a company contracts for 2 years, then a worker cannot
work for +1 years.
Yeah, +1. They can't work for then 3 years.
For 3 years. Okay, so then if your contract says 2 years, it's not 2025 to 2027. It's to 2020, starting in January, assuming.
Let's say January
It would be
2025.
2025 and 2026.
Yeah.
Yo.
So, Eric, what we are dealing with here, to me, fundamentally.
court.
No, fundamentally.
Just go to the High Court again, the Constitutional Division. Do we still have a Constitutional Division in High Court?
We have, yes.
Go there and say, can we have the election in 2026? Let the judges there tell you.
Eric.
The judge who was there in 2012, Lenaola is now in the Supreme Court. And he has told you, go to High Court. Go.
You see, Eric, fundamentally to me, this issue, it's a question of sovereignty. If you find your nation, the foundation of your nation is premised on illegalities, then where do you get the moral authority to complain when governance fails? Because the first thing that was robbed out of the people is their sovereignty. It's your right to donate your sovereign power. Somebody has stolen 1 year of it. Then, why do you complain? Why do you get surprised?
When people are not executing.
When healthcare system is collapsing.
Not to belabor this, but was this a constitutional oversight? Is there any way?
I don't think so.
I'm just trying to, what is it then?
To
get
tighten.
clarity, to tighten, because it's...
Janet, let me tell you. My view is this.
Yeah.
And I understand the Kenyan people. In our old constitution, there was a guaranteed 5-year term written there. The president shall serve for 5 years, written in the constitution. Now, Kenyans have subconsciously accepted that. So they assumed an election cycle previously used to be calculated based on calendar years. It is 1992, 1997, 97, 202, 202, 2007, 2007, 2012. But when you came up with a new constitution, the most important thing the Kenyans asked on election date, they simply said, we don't want elections in December because it disrupts our holidays, plans. That's the time when we spend with the family, we have to travel. So because of elections, many of us are not able to vote where we register. So can you take away the December elections? The consultants who are consulting for COG, and most of them were Americans, I've said this before, Canadians. There are 2 Americans, I think, a Canadian. To them, they understand the 4-year election cycle. When the voter is complaining that take away December elections from me, they simply said, then bring it inwards. So that what is guaranteed is 4 years. But inside the 5th year, we are now bringing it inwards. And they said August. August was deemed to be neutral.
Why was it deemed to be neutral? So they do theirs in November. They do
theirs in November.
Should that have been a consideration or not necessarily?
You see, for
it
them,
doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. For Kenyans, we
still have the same problem.
We had the question of school exams.
Holiday
Exams in November, October, November. So they were bringing it forward from December.
And August is also holidays, so you have the polling stations
are available.
And people are,
Quick
one, Wakili.
Yes, ma'am.
Robert Moura is asking, we also had a repeat election in 2017.
Yes.
So what date becomes relevant?
It was August and October.
Yeah.
Repeat election. So the answer is this. The general elections date is the 5th year cycle. In the 5th year cycle. By-elections that arise out of an election do not affect the date of the elections. So the repeat election was a by-election. Arising from.
Oh, okay. Legally, it's considered a by-election.
It's a by-election, like a by-election.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But
Just like a runoff, even if we had a runoff.
Even if it had a runoff, it's not. We are looking at the date of the general elections,
Okay.
which is the second Tuesday of August in the 5th year. Inside, Eric, I keep insisting this. Inside the 5th year.
The inside bit is where, because, you know, according to Willis here, if we looked at just August, let's go into 2026, August 2026, and we picked like the second Tuesday of August in 2026, second Tuesday of August will be the 11th.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
In 2026. Now, if we just go with Willis and grant him his wish.
The constitutional wish.
No. They grant you your wish.
Yes.
We'll start counting from that point.
Yes.
Right? So at some point, the second Tuesday of August may even be the final week of August. If we just continue counting like that. Right? And that's where my issue comes in with Willis.
Yes.
Because at some point, if we held an election on the 25th of August, at some point, then the second week of August will be in another year.
No.
Because,
I've had to do the math with some people on this question. And what you must always note is that anytime you have this discussion, what you draw the running of the year. From this date to this day, year 1, year 2, up to year 5th. Then inside it, and the choice of words are very clear. Look for the second Tuesday in August, inside that 5th year. So your fear that maybe one day the elections will be held on 31st of August. Then now it means we don't have, there's no day we will lack an August inside the 5th year. We will never lack an August. It will always have an August, and inside that August, we will find the second Tuesday. There is no year without an August.
Wakili, I want to ask, what is the greatest benefit to this? Say, for example, it was 2026.
Yes.
Is it a matter of credibility? Is it a matter of the Constitution? Is there also a benefit as regards term limits and strategy and execution and implementation of people elected? I'm just trying to figure out whether or not a year makes a difference. Yes, I know you'll say it's rooted in the Constitution, but beyond that, why is it?
You know, Janet, the greatest public interest, the greatest is the rule of law. That's the greatest public interest, the rule of law. And more so, rule of the Constitution. Because as how I won over Mariam here, the moment you start excusing and explaining,
And
there
that's
will
fair.
always
It is
be
fair.
there will always be an excuse why this one cannot be done, why you keep pushing the button. I always err on the side of, even if it looks inconvenient, it sounds inconvenient, if the law provides for it, let me err on the side of the rule of law. Because for there, I find certainty, I find predictability. But if you start using excuses, IBC is not prepared, boundaries have not been done, we don't have budgetary allocations, there's going to be weather. The next time somebody will also say, it's okay. The one that had proposed to do, the data I was supposed to conduct it, by then I'm also feeling ill. There are demonstrations, there's drought. People will find convenient excuses to undermine the law. So for me, my take is, for as long as the Constitution provides it, apply it. Don't look for plausible excuses to undermine the Constitution. Because if you stretch it, You give them a mile, they'll take.
You give them an
The
inch,
they take a mile.
I remember
And
that's how. Yes, that's
That's
exactly how it got me.
tribesman.
Because
Yes.
it's the truth.
It is.
It
we
is the
live in
truth.
a world of we give
It
an
is the
inch.
truth.
You
You know the
they
greatest
take a
danger?
mile.
The greatest danger is when we start now going into arguing about the language of interpretation and all. And that's why I like, science and formula. I was telling someone the other day, put a lawyer here, and if Isaac Newton was a lawyer, some of these formulas that we have out of Isaac Newton, they would have never been there. He'd have been arguing.
No, the apple
Just a
would
simple
drop
thing.
on his head,
Yeah.
and he would just be like,
Gravity,
Yeah,
is it G? So G is G10. Is G. We know the circumference of a circle is pi d. Simple. Pi 3.14. Lawyer will be going into 3.14, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, no, we should be looking at the 7th decimal, 2nd decimal, and so on and so forth. D, does that line have to be straight? Does it have to pass by the center for it to be diameter? And so on. It is simple. Pi d. Get the diameter times 3.14, you have the circumference. What you're trying to do now here, instead of tell us within, is trying to stretch the pi.
No.
3.14, whether it should be 3.1, what's the full length of pi? It never ends.
I disagree, Eric. I don't think there's any stretch in his interpretation of where the second Tuesday in the month
fifth.
of August in the 5th year lands.
It's a complete stretch. That's
There's
why
no
that's
stretch.
why there's so much confusion.
Eric, what I want to invite you to do, because this thing is not even about law anymore. This is purely English.
That's you see?
This is purely English.
See what I mean?
Just listen.
See what I mean?
Just listen.
I'm
Just
listening.
listen. I'm going to request you to invite English teachers from my school and the university.
That's exactly
No, just listen.
what I am saying.
Because just listen. Just allow me. Eric, just allow me. Eric, allow me to finish.
Constitution
Just
mzima ni
listen.
kizungu.
Because
Eric.
just listen. Because ultimately, even if you look at the language of our constitution, it is meant to be plain English that any ordinary Kenyan should be able to understand. Because our constitution is a document owned by the people. Lawyers cannot claim to be the conservators of the constitution, that we are superintending over it on behalf of Kenyans. No. This document is owned by the people of Kenya. And why I say bring an English teacher and ask them, if you are to be the one teaching your grade 6 students, what will be your explanation to this in their mother tongue? You will give them what I'm saying. But the problem is when lawyers will come with our Kizungu Mingi, which I agree, we start reading this part and read that part and read that part. So they bring confusion. That I agree. But this is a plain reading of the Constitution. Find the second Tuesday of August in the 5th year. Simple. Simple.
Latif. Simple. What happens next month, really? Where do we go from here?
1.14159265389793. It continues. Sasa, can you imagine it's not math? Can you imagine it's not math? Now it is just language.
Ni kizungu, yeah.
Gets it even in none of them is saying, let's even call the committee of experts and sit them near and ask them, so what did you mean?
The lawyers again.
That's fair.
Okay.
Lawyers again.
Which would have been, at least we are starting from the source.
That's fair.
Right? And that's why in fact we even say go for a constitutional interpretation and get it there sorted once and for all, because we have agreed all that once you go for constitutional interpretation, whatever that bench shall determine as the interpretation should stand. Now we should not subject it to further argument. It should be. We have said that pi will be 3.14. We shall deal with it 22/7. We shall deal with it as 22/7.
Okay.
And the D shall be this straight line from one end of the circle through the center. It's important. Through the center to the other end of the circle. You remove the word through the center and we shall go for the shortest straight line from one end of the circle to the other.
So have you attempted the route of the committee of experts, the people who drafted this constitution?
Exactly.
Let me say, I took time. I consulted with some of the legal experts who are working with the committee of experts. That is even where I learned about the issue of Kenyans didn't want December elections, bring it in. And what the experts from the US and Canada said, if you are bringing it in, if they don't want December election, then bring it in. Move it inwards into the 5th year. Inside the 5th year, choose a date. So the first option was November US election. They said there are exams that time. Schools are not available. Next available date is August. Bring it in August. So, and even then they say yes. It was never a guaranteed 5-year term. So that I've gotten.
Yes.
But what I have yet to get, which I am looking for, is judicial clarity and IBC courage to uphold our constitution.
Are you waiting for those, or will you pursue, like he's saying, ahead of the IBC courage?
I am going to pursue this thing to the bottoms of the earth and the zeniths of heaven to ensure that we protect our constitution.
Okay.
It will be a good one. I think it's important. It's very, very important that you do it. And thank you, Willis.
Thank you very much.
So it's a good job that you're doing.
Asante Rico.
Yes.
Like Hassan is saying,
Thank you.
do we need an interpretation
Very
or an
nice.
explanation? Africans don't do pie.
We do ugali, yes.
Pie.
Let's find the circumference of ugali. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
Ugali.
Pie here is not the full
I know.
pie.
Why are we like
What
this?
of your
Pie,
man?
the sign.
No, but why do we call it pie?
The scientists
It's from the
told
Greek.
us.
It is alpha, beta, whatever, pi, going all the way to omega.
So then, why can't we use you for ugali?
Ugali.
It's coming up to 8 a.m. In the next hour, we are going to talk about this purported corruption in Parliament and the recent reawakening by our national leaders to the graft that's been there in Parliament for years. Miss me with that coming up next.